Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Today in the Diddy trial, the prosecution rested its case with the feds calling the last of their witnesses. And overall, the trial had a lot of hype, and it was mostly all BS. Here's what I want to talk about. The ritual in numbers, because it's always a ritual in numbers. The secret society that's large and in charge in this nation, the Masons, they etch on the temple the Pythagoras quote, all is number. And again, the trial was supposed to begin on 5/5 for 55-year-old Diddy, but they delayed it a week until May 12th. So from the trial beginning May 12th to the prosecution resting its case, today, June 23rd, is 42 days later. And of course, this number is stamped all over Black history. Again, my 2017 book, Letters and Numbers, the 18th chapter of that book is about the shaming and ritual murder of Black celebrities in light of the 42 code. Recall Craig Mack of Bad Boy Records, one of many 42 casualties. But in this case, Diddy just went through 42 days of humiliation, with the word freak-offs said a gazillion times. And again, if you're new here, gematria, the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. There are 4 base ciphers in the English language: the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. I learned about this from the 1926 book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. The book alludes to all 4 ciphers, but only actually writes out the cipher for the dark blue, which is known as Pythagorean gematria or reduction, just the alphabetic order with numerology. That's where Puff Daddy and Freak-Offs both equal 42. So 42 days after the trial began, the case is rested. And with regards to the feds calling the last of their witnesses, remember the feds raided Diddy's home on the anniversary of Biggie's album, Life After Death, which came out right after he supposedly died. But look at this. From Diddy's birthday, November 4th, to the feds resting their case, it's exactly 33 weeks later. And in gematria, federal equals 33, like police, like masonry, like secrecy, like order. Big time code. The highest degree of the Scottish Rite is 33. And with regards to Diddy's life, his father was killed at age 33 in the year 72. And remember, his father worked for Frank Lucas. We talked about how important the Frank Lucas part of Diddy's history was in his arrest ritual back in September. But the story of Frank Lucas is that, he was in the Vietnam War and he figured out how to bring heroin over to the United States, which made him a drug kingpin. And supposedly he was smuggling all this heroin on military planes, on federal planes. Seems like a load of BS, if you ask me. And like I said, it's your government that wants to funnel the drugs in the country, because when you get caught with those drugs, you end up as slave labor in a cage, as so many people know. It's a game they play with society. Another 33 word is alcohol, like prohibition ended in 33. And think about how much money is generated off of alcohol-related crimes, largely DUIs or DWIs or whatever they call the acronym these days. A lot of money generated off people drinking and driving. And consider years ago you were allowed to have a lot more alcohol in your system. They dropped the level substantially in the 90s, and there's been a whole lot more money raised off drinking and driving ever since. But yeah, it's such a game, you guys. It's just such a game. 33 weeks after his birthday, the feds say they brought their last witness. 42 days after the trial began. Again, 42 is stamped all over Black history. Jackie equals 42, slavery, Tuskegee, the N-word, bus. Again, that Bad Boy Records song with, who is it? Is it Faith Evans and Carl Thomas? They say so emotional in the chorus. It begins with a bus passing by that has a big 42 on it. These things are not an accident. But yeah, again, just like the whole Diddy arrest was by the numbers, so is everyone resting their case. They just couldn't have scripted it any better. And the other big news right now, Trump supposedly announcing a ceasefire. Iran responded right away and said, Israel's still attacking us with drones, and we haven't agreed to any ceasefire. So when Trump announced it, though, it was already tomorrow. I speak from the United States. Tomorrow would be Tuesday, June 24th, which is a date with 55 numerology. Remember, ceasefire equals 55. So Trump said they had a ceasefire on the 55 date, at least for over there. Over here, it's a 54 date numerology, like Diddy was arrested at age 54, like I told you a year in advance he would be. Again, it all had to do with the death of Clarence Avant 54 years after establishing Sussex Records, and what happened to R. Kelly at age 54. And, of course, R. Kelly's back in the headlines by the numbers as well. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. In the comments, if you've been here, write down as many 42 rituals as you can remember that we've covered in the last decade plus. I'd like to see what the community remembers. Or are we all suffering from the United States of amnesia? Till next time.